talking about the Rocket Driver Roadmap to Success. So what I'm talking about is you guys utilizing the resources that you have at your disposal in the most efficient way possible to help you be better consultants, salespeople, and to help, frankly, not just you, but your salespeople to sell. So this is all about you getting out there and utilizing what you're paying for, really, with us to the maximum advantage possible. And fortunately for you, we've done a pretty good job laying it all out, if we do say so ourselves. It's pretty straightforward. So let's begin. What topics am I going to cover? Let me just go ahead here. We're going to do a review of all the resources, and we're going to cover the downloadable presentations that you have. It's important to note, though, that tonight's webinar, unlike the webinars you've attended in the past that I've hosted, is part of an ongoing series. We're going to do 3 parts to this webinar. Tonight's webinar, we're going to talk about the resources that you have at your disposal and how to grab those resources and read them and utilize them. But we're going to talk the next presentation about the next webinar, rather. We're going to talk about how to utilize these things when you're working with your actual clients, right? How are you going to get these presentations in your hands, utilize them in the context of selling, okay? And the third one is going to be about consulting, right? Which is not so much how to present or how to take a document and utilize it, what to say. It's really about when to apply a given service and how they blend together and how they upsells are so intrinsic to the process as well. So it's going to be about getting those resources, utilizing those resources in sales, and finally utilizing those resources in consulting to minimize any issues that you may encounter when you're out there in the field. So it's really, this is all about you guys and about getting out there, selling, and let's begin. So to start here, I'm going to change and share my screen with you guys. Okay. We're inside, starting first place, ground zero, the Sales and Success Center, right? You're inside that system. How best do you, utilize that system? What resources are available inside the Sales and Success Center? For those of you who are new, you may not have even gone through the videos yet, but everybody should have. You should have gone through the videos to educate yourself on what's inside here, because this is actually a really important resource for you guys, especially when you're conducting sales. Within the Sales and Success Center, right, you have all the analytics, or you have all of your accounts, right? All the leads you're working, if you're inputting them in there like you're supposed to, they should all be inside there. And you're going to have the ability to go on the accounts, right? When you go under Manage Accounts and pull up whatever account you want, and you're going to be able to run 2 different types of report on it. This is sort of like Act 1, Day 1, very simple resource that you have is you have these reports to aid you in selling, right? You have snapshot reports and you have snapshot listing scans. Over here in the resources section, what you have, right, when you go under your products over here, this is information on all the various services that you have at your disposal. All this information is this stuff here, the stuff that's in here on the given services, very important information. However, it's not going to ever be as comprehensive as the information that you have as a partner, because this information, everything here is based around straight up selling, right? What do we have to educate a salesperson? How far do we have to educate a person off the street that you've brought in here and you've put in this system? How much do they need to know to be able to just sell a service? Because their job, we're anticipating you guys putting a salesperson in here, and their job is just to close a deal, right? You're going to be heavily involved in the post-sale. You know that Rocket Driver exists. They don't. So the training here, while very robust and definitely enough to get you selling, is not all the training materials that you have. Right? When we go in here and we click on any of these, you click on business listings training. It's comprehensive, but you guys have a resource that your partners, that your salespeople don't at your disposal. You have the Rocket Driver Partner Portal, and absolutely all of you should be going through all the training inside that Rocket Driver Partner Portal. The store section contains more information on services as well. And then, of course, the sales section contains information on snapshot listing scans and how best to conduct them, right? Or how best to utilize, snapshot reports in your sales process. Really good stuff in there. When we go to the store, we learn more information. We have more information on all the various services that are here. So you have this resource right there at your disposal. You have snapshot reports. You have snapshot listing scans. You have all this stuff right here inside a Sales and Success Center, just for starters, right? We're going to go much deeper into this, but it's important to start with this system because if you think about it, guys, this is the system that you live in, right? This is the system where your business lives, and we're going to loop back here, and I think I'm going to talk more about that at the end. But when you're talking about resources that you have at your disposal immediately to get you up and running in sales, to get your salespeople up and running, just to get you, dangerous enough that you understand the services to be able to call somebody and, have a cogent conversation, there's enough here that you can reasonably assure yourself you can do that. Now, moving on from here, right, we have the Rocket Driver Partner Portal, and the Partner Portal is absolutely packed with resources and links to other resources inside of the Rocket Driver knowledge base, right? So when you go into this Rocket Driver Partner Portal, you go over here to digital services. This is where all of you, and I mean, it's laid out. I'll give it to the team that handled this. Tom was part of that team. He did a really great job leading it. And when you look at how everything's laid out, it is idiot proof, right? You go over here, you go to business listings. Here's the features. There's sales training. There's the post-sale process detailed for you. And there's the resources detailed for you, right? So everything's laid out really simple. Now, I took the liberty of clicking on all these links and going through and opening this stuff up in my browser so you don't have to. And when we go on here and we look, right, on this page, it's explaining in detail all the videos, right, that are going through the features of our websites, e-commerce features, our platform versus the rest, website editor, website personalization. So there's videos all throughout it, as you know. You scroll down, sales training, sales pitch, overcoming objections, what the competition charges. Going down here to the quote process, this is all detailed in, extraneous detail. We're going into qualification, the quote process for responsive websites versus e-commerce sites. And, this is a major, major resource. And you can see as I go through, as the development process is laid out for you there. The post-sale process is in video and it's written, delivery of the site. It's all laid out here in real detail so that you guys can get in here and you can access this. Something that I think is absolutely essential, though, when we're talking resources, is this little resources tab. I think some people, and I'm not saying all of you at all, some folks don't know that this section exists based on downloads and stuff, right? So if you go down here, free resource for images and videos, development intake form, website features, website marketing materials. When you go down here, every one of you needs to click on go to Help Center, because what happens when I click that? Boom, it pulls up the Rocket Driver knowledge base and it brings you specifically to that page, that section rather, of the knowledge base that pertains to websites. And you'll find within this what we've got in this list here, right? Website marketing materials right at the top. Our platform rocks, explanation of that. Our platform versus WordPress, mobile editing, e-commerce features, website personalization. Every single one of you, everybody on this call needs to go in here and download these and have a folder on your computer. Call it, my agency space websites, right? Make another folder. My agency space reputation management. My agency space social media, digital advertising, business listings, SEO. Right? Because in each of these sections, what you have, when you go to the bottom of this, right here in the Rocket Driver Partner Portal, digital services, mouse over whatever you want, click on it. You go to the bottom of that, or you click, straight through to the resources section, because it's right there on each of these, right at the bottom, each of these. And you guys can all see the screen. Good. Everybody can see this. I just want to make sure I'm not talking to an audience that isn't, on the same page with me. You guys can all see it. Just give me a shout out in chat if you can. You can? All right. All right, great. You go down here, sales and marketing tools, right there. Boom. Because this is the stuff you need to demo, right? This is the stuff, a lot of this stuff, you'll go in here and, some of these things are going to be accessible inside of the Sales and Success Center. Some of them are not, right? Because we couldn't put everything in from here over there. And the reason that we can't put every single thing that's inside the Rocket Driver Partner Portal inside of the Sales and Success Center is really pretty simple, because some things you're going to want to rebrand. You're going to want to edit. You're going to want to manipulate, right? You're going to want to do stuff to it. I'll give you a great example of that in just a second here, because when we go, and I'll do a screen share and show you this too, right? I downloaded the SEO presentation, right? Actually, you know what I'll do while we're on here? I'll stick with this one. I'll share this one with you guys so you can see this. Share your screen. You guys can see this screen, right? You guys can see now that an application up. This is one of the documents, right? That's accessible. This is an SEO presentation. that you are free to take and modify and rebrand and utilize in your own sales, right? Utilize at your own business. So you have access to this. You go to the SEO section, you download this, and you say, you know what? Doesn't have my logo in it. I want my logo in there. Well, now I'm using LibreOffice, and I'll give you guys a link to get a hold of a copy of it if you want. But all of you should have Microsoft Word. All of you should have some kind of a word processor on your computer that you can open up, or a presentation app that can open up a PowerPoint and edit it, right? There's WPS Office, there's LibreOffice, they're both free. And then there's other stuff that's out there that's free. Microsoft Office will, of course, do it. What is it? iWork from Apple will work. Pretty much any word processing Office package made in the last 20 years will open and edit these. Okay, they're not using far out advanced 2020 features, in terms of, JPEG's still a JPEG. So these will edit just fine. You want to edit it. Well, it's really pretty simple. Let's say your partner name was Rocket Driver, right? You go there, you can type that in, Rocket Driver, whatever, right? You can type on it. You can go in here and you can insert a logo. If you want to insert an image, I've got some prearranged images and I'm going to insert, you guys can't see it because it's a screen share, but I'm just going to insert the Rocket Driver logo. So you can stick your logo in this thing really simply, just go stick it at the top, the bottom, middle, wherever you want to put it, and you can modify it, right? And then you can save that out. And you can even go as far, and I've done this at companies I've worked at and been a part of and so on through the years. You can even go and distribute this PPTX or whatever, PPTX file. And your salespeople can do things like utilizing this presentation, but putting, presented by, and putting their names in there, right? So you could do stuff like that. That is why these presentations are right over here inside the knowledge base. You can grab and you can utilize, and you're going to look much, much more professional than if you don't have something like this to showcase when you're trying to present to somebody. Now, I'm going to get into how to utilize these in the next webinar. I want to get into just the mechanical nuts and bolts in this one, right? So that's why I'm talking about editing documents, downloading and accessing them, guys. We're going to get into how to use these later on. When you go through them, though, you can go ahead and you can add like your phone number at the bottom. You can add your name. You do all kinds of stuff. And it's not hard to do it, right? It is absolutely like bonehead simple to like open up this thing and just, where there's text, you just go on it and type, right? Change it, modify it, tear it apart. If you get a bad copy, delete it and download it again. You can't hurt it. Don't worry about harming the document. Somebody just typed, what if we mess it up? The point is, you guys all have access to this and you have access to an entire realm of, really a world of these documents. Let me go back and just share my screen again. So you guys can see, you've got access to a ton of stuff. Okay. You guys can see this again just fine. So, we have tons of resources for SEO. We have these case studies. How many of you, is anybody on this call utilized any of these case studies when they were marketing SEO to somebody? Has anybody here utilized it? Use these. You could go in here. These are a tremendous resource. If you're talking to somebody that has one of these businesses and you can read to them a case study and show to them a case study, or hell, even send to them a case study if you had to. Although I don't recommend emailing presentations to people. I recommend screen sharing and demonstrating presentations, but that's just me. You take any of these, right? Game monetization software, case study, $6,000. Go ahead, open it up. This opens up as a PDF, but still, you have all of these at your disposal that you can send to people and showcase and utilize and talk about. And it's conversation tools. These are all tools for conversations. The point is, everybody needs to get in here. And this knowledge base is so easy to use. And I know when I showed it to you guys, a lot of you were kind of blown away by it when we originally, debuted it, or I re-debuted it. I did a review of it. There's so much inside the Rocket Driver knowledge base in terms of presentations, brochures, scripts, documents, downloads, images, infographics. It's so many things are inside here that you really do need to go in here and spend some time looking, because I go to any of these categories, right? Let's say I go to digital advertising. I go down here and I go sales and marketing tools. Any of these I click on, I've got all this stuff, right? Brochures, sales tools, research, marketing videos. I mean, there's so much stuff to use here. And like with videos, right, guys, that's another thing. You have a lot of video resources, and those resources are not just back here. All of you have it on your website, right? All of you guys have it up on your website. Everyone's sites are jam-packed. I mean, these sites, and I have just a preview up here just to show you guys, you know, so obviously yours is going to be branded to your company, but when you get into it, these sites have like 20, 30 videos, something like that on them that explain everything. That's another resource you can use when you're training or discussing things with, for example, a new hire, a prospect, whoever, because you can always go to these videos here and you can bring them up, right? And you can showcase these and to show off to people, you know, various features that you have. Inside of, when you go over to the Rocket Driver Partner Portal, you have access to lots of videos that you can send in an email as a link. You have access to lots of stuff. When I go up here, right, and I type in video and I pull it up, we can go through this. Let me just see here. Marketing video, customer voice marketing video, listing builder, for example. If I type in, and I mean, I have to go through this list a little bit, but you can see that we've got tons of videos on reputation management, social marketing. We've got all this stuff here, and we go to any specific section. If I go back to the beginning, right, and I dig through this thing, right, I can go through it. We've got Business Center, Sales Hub, overview of digital services, web design, sales and marketing tools, customer voice, business listings, reputation management, and it's all laid out very, very, very logically. If I'm here and I'm looking for, you know, contracts, I can go to the bottom and go on to agreements, and I can get access to agreements that I might need. If I'm looking for, you know, marketing materials, it's really simple. Sales and marketing tools. Go up here, click on it, and go through this, and it has tons of different downloads and also a lot of educational material. And the great part is everything is linked to like everything else, almost like its own little Wikipedia or its own little internet almost. When you go in here and you click through, right, like for example, customizing a business health check report. Click on that, boom. This is going to explain how you can utilize that. So this, you know, entire resource should be used to the maximum of your advantage. And we go down here, let's go down, marketing videos. This is what I wanted to show you a minute ago. You know, going through this, you can click on any of these local marketing and SEO, right? Click on that one. Up comes this video you can play. Some of these videos you can go and you can copy, link, and thumbnail. You can actually send out. You can actually go through and you can send it out. And they've got this video in different formats, right? South African voice, a British voiceover, an Australian, American, no voiceover at all. How to embed these videos, an explanation of how you can embed them, for example, if you wanted to send them out to somebody or utilize them in some way. So that's another resource you have that I think a lot of you are not aware of, is that you have all these videos at your disposal and you have all these materials in a very neat and orderly fashion that you can access. Everybody needs to download them. You need to download them, you need to go through them, and frankly, you need to critique them. If there's something you think we could do better at, we would be happy to supply you with it. But first, utilize what's there. Go inside this system, research what's there, because believe me, there have been just thousands and thousands and thousands of hours spent producing all this stuff, right? Getting all this stuff put together, putting together presentations, putting together all these slide decks and all this information for you guys to have access to. So it really is very much so in your best interest to get in here and to tear this system apart, right? Utilize everything. And here, I think you guys will appreciate me bringing my screen up just a touch so you can see it better. The point is, everybody needs to get into this thing. You need to get in here. Now, when we're talking about resources, it's important to understand a big part of the resource situation with a lot of you guys is that people who are new, I understand if you just signed up, you're a new partner here, you're going through training, I don't fault you at all. All right. If you don't know services yet, because you'll learn them, right? You're going to learn first, you're going to learn enough to sell. Then you're going to learn a little bit more to be credible, maybe more educated if you were talking to someone in IT. And eventually you're going to be educated where it's second nature. And all this stuff is just, all the technical stuff just washes right off your back. It's no big deal, right? You learn to just sort of handle the stuff. But if you're somebody who's been here a while and you've been with us a long time and you haven't been staying up on what's going on with services, things that are being added to them, new features, new updates, new changes, if you haven't stayed current on it, or if being honest with yourself, you really haven't spent the time to educate yourself on these services, you need to go into the system and go through training. Everybody, and I mean everybody, needs to know this stuff inside and out. And there are certain specific services that, you really can end up in a situation where you look foolish if you don't know just fundamental basics, the stuff that we cover. Websites, for example. We have 10 years of selling sites by the thousands and thousands and thousands, right, as a company. And we have so many happy partners, so many people that have sold so many sites. And we know that like the back of our hand, right? We've put together really, really killer material for everything, but for websites, really over the top. Going through that, we've condensed it down to the most essential information that you need to know. You have to know this stuff. If you don't understand websites, just the basics, right, of websites, if you don't understand what you're selling, you could back yourself into some bad situations that you don't want any part of, and you don't have to have any part of. And most people don't. 99% don't. But don't be one of that 1% that goes and sells the site, but doesn't go through the process of learning what they're selling first, because it's all laid out for you in a single page. It can all be scrolled. What you need to know, it's all there, right? How it all works. And the best part about selling sites, and I know all of you here, every one of the people on this call can sell websites, right? Selling sites is easy. And selling sites is also something that, it's recession proof, it's depression proof. It's going to continue on as long as, just like a mechanic. Mechanics will exist as long as there are cars. Web development will exist as long as there is an internet to build sites on, right? It's one of those things that's perennial. SEO, perennial. Everyone's competing online. They're competing more now than ever. They're going to continue competing. It's never going away. When you're talking about these kinds of services, if you have to focus your time, right? Because I know all of you have limited time. We all do. Even if we have all day long to hang out and party or whatever, we still only have 24 hours. If you don't have a tremendous amount of time and you have to select what to focus yourself upon, I'd advise everyone on this call to focus on those two services, websites, SEO. Hammer those two services into your heads, because they're the bedrock anchor services that everything else sort of swirls around and is contingent upon. If you don't have a good website, then it doesn't matter if you rank. Once you rank and you have a good website, you have, websites and SEO, the two foundational services down, then it's on to all the other stuff. Then we worry about all the other cool stuff that we've got to sell, right? We worry about reputations and everything else. Because a bad website is the same as having a bad reputation. It's spreading the word. The more eyeballs on it, the worse. So we're talking about all this stuff, and I've talked quite a bit now, about a half hour on resources. It's just critical that you guys understand that what you have at your disposal to be able to go out there and to sell with, everything that you've got, you have to take the time to study it so that you're confident. Big part of all this, and guys, I've been in sales. I sold a lot of stuff in my time. If I wasn't confident about something, if I didn't feel that I understood and knew what I was selling, then I couldn't sell it to somebody. I would be in a situation where it's like, I don't understand what I'm selling. I can't sell this to somebody because they can turn around and sue me. They can get upset. I could do it wrong. But once I had confidence, then I could sell to anybody because I could explain to anybody. And that's what it's really all about, guys. It's about going in and making sure that you understand these services, that you utilize the resource to get your head where it needs to be, so that no matter who you're in front of, you're talking to them, you can explain who you are, what you sell, why you sell it, why it's better than someone else, why they should buy it. And then at the end, get them to take the step to buy it. But if you can't explain yourself, if you don't, A, understand yourself, and B, have this conveyance, this way of this visual aid to get the point across to somebody. Because no matter how hard I talked, I've been in this situation many times, a visual aid, a picture was worth 1,000 words, right? I'd sit there and talk, but the person doesn't understand till they see it. There are people like that, a huge amount. And that's why you need to get these presentations. Now, I would advise all of you, I'd very strongly advise everybody get themselves a licensed copy of Microsoft Office. It doesn't cost much money at all. Something that everybody needs to have anyway, because, it's an application of the modern world that we all use. All those formats are predominant: Doc, DocX, PPT, PPTX, all the formats that are used by that package for doing all the document editing that we do. Now, when you go ahead and you look at this and you look at what it can offer for you, it's a tremendous value, because these applications will allow you to edit just about everything. In fact, they'll allow you to edit everything that I showed you this evening and a lot more, because one of the things about this is you guys are running agencies. You need to get out in front and really advocate for yourself when it comes to your salespeople. Those of you who have large sales forces, you're used to, if you're used to running a large sales force, a big part of your day becomes getting on and rallying the troops, right? It's a big part of everyone's day. Every business owner who's ever had a sales force knows that's something that you have to do. Well, if you can equip your troops with stuff that's been, branded to your company, that has their name on it and so on, it's just one of those things that's going to help you that much more. So I advise everybody to get a hold of the PPT documents, download them, see what's in them, check them out. We're going to be issuing probably some new documents here in the future. In the next coming weeks and months, we're going to be rolling out some new marketing materials that are modified and updated and changed in various ways. But the resource sections will stay the same. So it's now that you know where to go, everybody should rush in there and go and get this stuff. I give the advice to everybody: show up for the next webinar, have some questions, write some down. I'd love to hear them from you. If you have anything that stumps you during the week, anything that you can't find, support can't help you with, you can always email me, jake@rocketdriver.com. I'm very accessible and I do respond personally. So, you're not getting a secretary's response or something like that. I will really respond to you. And if you're struggling out there, if any of you guys are running into problems or issues of any kind, don't hesitate to reach out, because that's what I'm here for, guys. We're a company that really does care about each and every one of you. I want you guys to all be successful. And to be successful, I would think that it's important that everybody, communicate whatever's going on at their company with us. We can help you out if you're struggling at all. So just always communicate, always let us know. If you have any ideas for Rocket Driver, ideas for these webinars, anything like that, don't hesitate. Fire me off at email, jake@rocketdriver.com. Albert, you're going to have to contact the support department. By the questions you're asking, Albert, I would go in that section of the portal, watch the videos. You got to go through training, because all these questions are all answered right there inside Rocket Driver Partner Portal. Anyhow, guys, it was great speaking with all of you. If you're new here, welcome aboard. I'm so happy to hear you. I look forward to us getting a chance to talk on the phone. Albert, I think you're pretty new. I hope we get a chance to speak at some point. Feel free to fire me off at email, jake@rocketdriver.com. Keep in mind, everybody, I'm not the support department. I will refer you there if it's something they can help you with, and I can't because my time's limited, but I'd be more than happy to make time to help each and every one of you to succeed. All right, guys, have a great evening. It was nice speaking with all of you. I'll talk to you real soon. Good night, everybody.